Get in. Yeah, I hear it too. Helicopters. Where to? Doesn't matter. We're going to Santo André, October 2008. Apartment building, working class neighborhood. You ever hear about a hostage situation that the entire country watched live on TV? For 100 hours. For days. A teenage girl trapped in her own apartment with her ex-boyfriend. Cameras, reporters, police negotiators, SWAT teams, and millions of Brazilians glued to their screens, watching in real time. Her name was Eloá Pimentel, 15 years old, 9th grade, lived with her mum, normal kid. Her ex-boyfriend, Lindenberg Alves, 22 years old. They'd broken up 2 weeks earlier. He didn't handle it well. October 13th, 2008. Monday afternoon. Lindenberg showed up at Eloá's apartment. He had a gun. He took her hostage. Took her best friend hostage too. And for 100 hours, Brazil watched. Police negotiated. Psychologists talked to him. Media interviewed everyone. And Lindenberg, he gave interviews from inside the apartment. Talked to reporters on the phone, on camera, live, while holding a gun to Eloá's head. Tonight, we're going to Santo André. We're going back to October 2008. We're going to talk about what happens when a hostage crisis becomes a media circus and a teenage girl pays the price. You buckled in. Good. Because this one doesn't end with rescue. It ends with 2 gunshots. Let me tell you about Eloá and the 100 hours that horrified Brazil. Eloá Pimentel, born July 29, 1993. Santo André, São Paulo, school years old, 9th grade student, lived with her mother, Ana Cristina, normal teenager, friends, school, social life, loved music, loved dancing, typical kid navigating adolescence. Lindenberg Alves, born Iju Barlil, Santo André, 22 years old, worked odd jobs, difficult childhood, troubled background. In Arlington, Eloá and Lindenberg started dating. She was 14, he was 21. Red flag number 1, her family was concerned. 7-year age gap. She was too young, but Eloá was in love, and Lindenberg seemed devoted. At first, over the next year, things changed. Lindenberg became possessive, jealous, controlling. He didn't want Eloá seeing friends, didn't want her going out, accused her of cheating. Classic signs of an abusive relationship. Eloá's friends noticed. Her mother noticed. By late September 2008, Eloá had had enough. She broke up with him. Lindenberg didn't accept it. He called, texted, showed up at her apartment, begged her to take him back. She refused. On October 12, 2008, 2 weeks after the breakup, Lindenberg called Eloá. He was desperate, crying, said he couldn't live without her. Eloá felt bad, agreed to meet him one last time, to talk. She invited him to her apartment. Monday, October 13th, around 2 p.m. It was the worst decision of her life. Monday afternoon, Eloá's apartment, 6th floor of a building in Santo André. Eloá was home with her best friend, Nayara Rodrigues Silva, also 15. Around 2:30 p.m., Lindenberg arrived. He came to talk, to convince Eloá to take him back. But he didn't come alone. He brought a gun, a .38 revolver, loaded at first. Lindenberg was calm, talking, pleading. But when Eloá said no firmly, finally, something snapped. He pulled out the gun, pointed it at Eloá, said, "If you don't come back to me, nobody will have you." Classic abuser logic. Eloá panicked. Nira panicked. Lindenberg locked the door. And just like that, 2 teenage girls were hostages. The police arrived by 3 p.m. Someone in the building heard shouting, called police. Military police arrived within minutes. They surrounded the building, evacuated neighbors, set up a perimeter. A hostage negotiator was called in. Lindenberg barricaded the door, threatened to kill Eloá if anyone came in. The standoff began. The media circus here's where things get insane. Within hours, news crews arrived. TV cameras, helicopters, reporters everywhere. The building was surrounded, not just by police, but by media. And the coverage was live, 24/7. Every major news network in Brazil, cameras pointed at the apartment windows, reporters giving updates every few minutes. And Lindenberg, he had a cell phone. Reporters started calling him, and he answered. Let me say that again. While holding 2 teenage girls hostage at gunpoint, Lindenberg Alves gave live interviews to Brazilian media, on TV, in real time. The interviews over the next 4 days, Lindenberg spoke to reporters dozens of times. He talked about his relationship with Eloá, about how much he loved her, about how she'd broken his heart. He cried, he rambled, he made demands. He said things like, I just want her to love me again. I'm not a monster. I just love her too much. If I can't have her, I'll kill her. And then myself and the media, they ate it up, broadcasted every word, analyzed his psychology, interviewed his family, Eloá's family, friends, neighbors. It was a spectacle, and inside that apartment, 2 terrified girls were living a nightmare. The negotiation police negotiators worked round the clock, trying to calm Lindenberg, trying to get him to release the girls, trying to de-escalate. On October 14th day, Lindenberg released Niara. He kept Eloá. Niara was traumatized, told police Lindenberg was unstable, violent, that Eloá was terrified. But police couldn't storm the apartment. Too risky. Lindenberg had a gun to Eloá's head, so they kept negotiating, and the media kept broadcasting. The second hostage, on October 15th day, something bizarre happened. Niara, after being released and giving statements to police, voluntarily went back into the apartment. She convinced Lindenberg to let her return, said she wanted to keep Eloá company. Some reports say she did it to support her friend. Others say Lindenberg manipulated her, threatened Eloá's life if Niara didn't return. Either way, now there were 2 hostages again, and the standoff continued. The breaking point, October 17th. By Friday, October 17th, Lindenberg was deteriorating. 4 days without sleep, paranoid, increasingly erratic. He'd stopped talking to negotiators, stopped taking calls. Police decided they had to act. Around 3, policial militar, the SWAT team Grupo de Ações Táticas Especiais GATE, prepared to breach. The plan: storm the apartment, neutralize Lindenberg, rescue the girls. At 3:55 p.m., they moved, broke down the door, threw bangs, rushed in, chaos, shouting, gunfire, and then 2 shots. Long silence. The shots Lindenberg fired twice. First shot hit Niara Silva in the face. Second shot hit Eloá Pimentel in the head. Both girls collapsed. SWAT officers tackled Lindenberg, disarmed him, arrested him. Paramedics rushed in. Niara was conscious, critical condition, rushed to the hospital. Eloá was unconscious. Bullet lodged in her brain, also rushed to the hospital. The siege was over, but the nightmare wasn't. The aftermath: Niara Silva survived. The bullet shattered her jaw. She underwent multiple surgeries, lost teeth, permanent facial damage. but she lived. Eloá Pimentel did not. She was in a coma, brain dead. On October 18, 2008, one day after being shot, Eloá's family made the decision to remove life support. She died at 5:45 a.m., 15 years old. Eloá Pimentel was held hostage for 100 hours. Brazil watched on live TV, and when police finally moved to save her, she was shot in the head. The trial: Lindenberg Alves was arrested and charged with kidnapping, attempted murder, Naira murder, Eloá, illegal possession of a firearm. The trial began in 2009. Prosecution argued premeditated violence, domestic abuse, femicide. Defense argued temporary insanity, crime of passion. Lindenberg was out of his mind with love. In 2012, the verdict: Lindenberg Alves, guilty, sentenced to 98 years and 10 months in prison. One of the longest sentences in Brazilian history. But here's the thing about Brazilian law: maximum time served, regardless of sentence, is 40 years, recently reduced to 30 in some cases. Lindenberg is currently serving his sentence. He'll be eligible for parole in the 2030s. Eloá will still be dead. The media's role after Eloá's death: Brazil had a reckoning. Critics slammed the media for turning a hostage crisis into entertainment, giving Lindenberg a platform, interfering with police operations, potentially escalating Lindenberg's paranoia by broadcasting 24/7. Some argued the media attention caused Eloá's death, that if cameras hadn't been there, if Lindenberg hadn't been interviewed, if the spectacle hadn't existed, maybe police could have negotiated better. Maybe Lindenberg wouldn't have spiraled. Maybe Eloá would have survived. We'll never know. But what we do know is that Brazil watched a teenage girl die on live TV, and nobody could stop it. There's no mystery about what happened. Lindenberg killed Eloá, but let's talk about the why and the system that failed her. Theory 1. Domestic violence escalation. This was a classic case of intimate partner violence. Controlling boyfriend, breakup, escalation, murder. Lindenberg couldn't accept losing Eloá, so he killed her. Femicide, plain and simple. This fits the pattern of thousands of domestic violence murders worldwide. Theory 2. The media made it worse. Some experts believe the media circus escalated Lindenberg's behavior. Constant attention, cameras, interviews. It fed his narcissism, made him feel powerful, gave him a stage. If media hadn't been there, maybe he would have surrendered earlier. Maybe Eloá would have survived. Theory 3. Police mismanagement. Critics argue police waited too long to breach. 100 hours is a long hostage situation. By day 4, Lindenberg was unstable, sleep-deprived, dangerous. Police knew this, but they kept negotiating. When they finally moved, it was too late. Lindenberg was too far gone. Should they have moved sooner, or would that have triggered violence earlier? Theory 4. Systemic failure. Eloá was 14 when she started dating a 21-year-old. That's a red flag. That's a power imbalance. That's grooming. But nobody intervened. Her family was concerned. Her friends were concerned. But there were no systems in place to protect her. No mandatory reporting. No intervention programs. She was left to navigate an abusive relationship alone, and it killed her. The unanswered questions: should media be banned from broadcasting active hostage situations? Did the police handle the siege correctly? Could Eloá have been saved? Why did Naira go back into the apartment? What accountability do media outlets have? Eloá is gone. Lindenberg is in prison. And Brazil learned a brutal lesson about domestic violence and media responsibility. We're here. Look, There's no twist in this story, no mystery, no conspiracy. Just a 15-year-old girl who broke up with her abusive boyfriend and paid for it with her life. Lindenberg Alves held Eloá hostage for by hours. Brazil watched on TV. Police negotiated. Media interviewed him. Psychologists analyzed him. And when it ended, when police finally stormed the apartment, Lindenberg shot Eloá in the head. She was 15. She had her whole life ahead of her. And she died because a 22-year-old man couldn't accept no. This case changed Brazil. New laws on domestic violence, media ethics debates, police training reforms. But none of that brings Eloá back. None of that erases the 100 hours of terror she endured. None of that changes the fact that millions of people watched and couldn't save her. The meter's off. Santo André is quiet tonight, but somewhere Eloá's mother is still grieving. Nayara still has scars, physical and emotional, and Lindenberg is in prison, serving 98 years. But he'll be eligible for parole in the 2030s. He'll get a second chance. Eloá never will. There's an ancient truth that says love is patient. Love is kind. Love doesn't demand, doesn't control, doesn't destroy. What Lindenberg felt for Eloá wasn't love. It was possession, obsession, control disguised as devotion. There's a principle woven into existence that real love sets free. It respects, it honors. Lindenberg's love held a gun to Eloá's head. Real love doesn't do that. For by hours, Eloá was trapped. She begged, she cried, she pleaded for her life. And Lindenberg, who claimed to love her more than anything, pulled the trigger. There's a warning in ancient wisdom that jealousy is as cruel as the grave, that obsession destroys, that control is violence. Lindenberg didn't kill Eloá because he loved her. He killed her because he owned her, or thought he did. And when she asserted her freedom, her autonomy, her right to say no, he couldn't accept it, so he ended her. I think about Eloá's last moments sometimes. She knew she was going to die. She knew the police were coming, knew Lindenberg was unstable. Did she hope? Did she pray? Or did she just resign herself? There's a promise in ancient wisdom that those who suffer unjustly will be comforted, that the innocent will be vindicated, that justice will come. Eloá's family got some justice. Lindenberg was convicted, sentenced to 98 years. But is that enough? Can any sentence balance a 15-year-old's life? We're told that love conquers all, but sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes evil wins. Not forever, not ultimately, but in the moment, in the brutal, immediate reality, evil can destroy. And Eloá paid the price. There's a weight to that. A reminder that no is a complete sentence. That control is not love. That when someone shows you who they are, violent, possessive, dangerous, believe them and get out. Eloá tried. She broke up with him, but the system didn't protect her. The police couldn't save her. And the media turned her death into entertainment. Hey, thanks for staying with me through this one. I know it's hard. I know it's heartbreaking. But Eloá's story needs to be told. Because she's not alone. Thousands of women are killed every year by partners who love them too much. Who can't accept no. Who think control is devotion. If this case affected you, if you're angry that Eloá died, if you're frustrated by the media circus, if you think the system failed her, do me a favor, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more stories that expose domestic violence, media responsibility, and systemic failure. Drop a comment. Tell me what you think. Should media be banned from active hostage situations? Did police wait too long? what justice looks like for Eloá. I read every one. And if you know someone in an abusive relationship, or if you are in one, please get help. National domestic violence hotlines exist. Shelters exist. Resources exist. You deserve safety. You deserve freedom. You deserve life. I've got more stories, more cases, more truths. Next time, we're going somewhere just as painful. Until then, remember Eloá's name. Remember that no means no. And remember, control is not love. Possession is not devotion. And nobody has the right to take your life because you chose freedom.